I want you to just, for a second, think about a sound. Or, I guess, the lack of one.
Yeah.
You know the exact moment I'm talking about. You're on a really important business call.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Right. You're trying to close a deal or maybe fix some huge error, and you asked to speak to the person in charge. And the voice on the other end just goes, hang on, click. And then nothing, just the void.
It's the absolute worst. That's the purgatory. You're just sitting there wondering, did I get disconnected? Are they laughing at me? Did they just go to lunch?
Exactly. It's just silence.
Yeah.
Or worse, that mocking rhythmic dial tone. It just makes me feel so unimportant. And it makes the company feel, frankly, disorganized. And that exact feeling, that frustration, that's what we're digging into today.
Right. And this isn't just, phone etiquette. That sounds so dated.
Yeah, like knowing which fork to use.
Exactly. We're talking about the strategic architecture of connection. Because we tend to think of the phone as this old legacy tool we just have to put up with. But it's a high-stakes touch point. It actually anchors your brand equity.
So no pressure then.
A ton of pressure. But that's what's so great about the guide we're looking at. We're unpacking professional telephone protocol. And the mission isn't just be nice. It's about something they call optimizing the verbal handshake.
The verbal handshake. I love that. It sounds active, intentional.
It is. And the guide kicks off with this really powerful concept of binary outcomes. On one side, you have friction.
Friction. That's my hang on moment.
That's exactly. The visual is all broken chains, tangled lines, confusion. It's a mess. But on the other side, you've got fluidity, smooth waves, a secure lock. Structural integrity.
So every single thing we say puts us on one side or the other.
Precisely. Every linguistic choice either streamlines the connection or it introduces friction. There is no neutral ground. You're either helping or you're hurting.
That's a little intimidating.
Yeah.
But the guide brings up a psychological reason for this that I think is the real key. It's cognitive load.
This is the big insight right here. When a caller is in that void, their brain is working overtime. They're thinking, did they forget about me? Am I being transferred? Do I have to explain my whole problem again? That mental work is cognitive load.
It's like having too many tabs open in your browser.
Exactly. And our strategic goal is to use rigorous protocol to mitigate that cognitive load for the caller, to zero it out. When we do that, we're subconsciously telling them, I've got this handled, you can relax. We're reinforcing our own authority.
Okay, so how do we build that structure? The guide lays out 3 distinct pillars of call management. It's almost like architecture.
It is. And you can't just have one phone voice. You need 3 distinct modes depending on the situation.
All right, let's walk through them. Pillar number 1 is the intermediary.
This is your bread and butter. It's defined by facilitating external connections, and the key concept is proactive stewardship. You're not just opening a door, you're guiding them through it.
Then we have pillar 2, direct engagement.
A total gear shift. This is about managing participation and urgency. The idea is assertive presence. This is the emergency room doctor approach. We need to get things done now.
And the third pillar, formal and technical.
This is for, the heavy lifting, routing and transitions. The concept is precision and distance. Think global headquarters, maybe air traffic control. You are managing a system.
I like how distinct they are, because mixing them up is where the friction comes from, right?
Oh, absolutely. Use the air traffic controller voice with a calm client, and you just sound cold and robotic. Context is everything.
Okay, let's dive into that first pillar then, the intermediary, proactive stewardship. There's a specific power phrase here that seems really simple.
It does seem simple. It's just 3 words. I will put you through.
I will put you through. The guide pairs this with a visual of a bridge with a person on it overseeing the crossing. Why is that phrasing so important? Why not just say, transferring?
Because transfer feels mechanical. It feels like I'm dumping you into a machine, transferring you now. Click. Good luck.
Yeah, it's like you're being handed off, not my problem anymore.
Exactly. But I will put you through feels personal. It creates a mental picture of placement, of active assistance. It signals that I am personally overseeing your progress across that bridge. It kills the ambiguity.
It's like saying, I'm going to walk you down the hall, versus just pointing and saying, it's over there somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. It takes responsibility for the connection.
So what does this sound like in a real situation? The guide has a few specific scripts. Let's start with technical specialists.
Right. A client calls, they're stressed. You don't just dump them on IT. The script is, Please remain on the line. I will put you through to our technical support leads for a deep dive into that issue.
Deep dive. I like that. It promises a solution.
Yeah.
Okay, what about departmental leadership?
This one's a bit more formal. A vendor is on the line. One moment, please. I am putting you through to the head of the logistics department now.
It sounds so controlled,
Ugh.
so calm. And I noticed the word now at the end.
That now implies immediacy. It says, this is happening right away. You're a priority.
And the third scenario, stakeholder access.
I will put you through to our procurement coordinators to finalize those details. Again, it's that consistent, reliable thread. It tells the caller, I have you, I know where you're going, and I'm making sure you get there.
But sometimes you don't have time to walk them across the bridge. Sometimes the building is on fire. That brings us to pillar 2, direct engagement.
Exactly. We're shifting gears. This is requesting presence.
And the context here is high urgency, or maybe an established relationship. The tone is described as assertive and familiar.
Yes. The visual is a big, bold arrow.
Yeah.
And the script is very direct. Put the lead on the phone.
Whoa. Put the lead on the phone. That's not a request, that's a command.
It is, and that's why the guide has a big strategic warning here. It says this needs professional grace. You have to balance that directness with service continuity.
Yeah, I can see how that could go wrong if you bark that at the wrong person.
You just sound rude. It's risky. It's for when you have the professional capital to spend or the emergency is real. You're cutting through the red tape because the outcome matters more than the politeness.
But what happens when you cut through the red tape and just hit a wall? The guide has this great flowchart for that.
A critical workflow. So you say, put the director on the phone, but the status comes back busy, unavailable.
And here's where most people just fall apart. I hear it all the time. Sorry, he's not here. And then crickets.
That's what the guide calls a dead end. You've just stranded the caller, you've created maximum friction, you've taken all their momentum and just slammed them into a brick wall.
So what's the fix? How do you maintain that fluidity?
You have to offer a resolution path. Never leave them with a no.
The guide offers 2 paths. First, a high priority fix.
Right. If it's urgent, you say, I will direct you to their associate to ensure an immediate resolution.
See, the key word is resolution. You're not promising the person because they aren't there. You're promising the problem will get solved.
That's it. The caller doesn't actually want the director. They want their problem fixed. You offer the fix, they're happy.
And then there's a general fix for something maybe less urgent.
I will transfer you to the project office so we can address this without delay.
Without delay. Again, reinforcing that their time is valuable. The takeaway is just never leave them stranded.
Never create a dead end. Always build another bridge.
Okay, let's get to that third pillar. The really big formal stuff. Precision and distance.
Right. This is for massive call centers, a global HQ switchboard, high volume technical environments.
And the vocabulary changes completely. We're not putting people through. What are the key words here?
Transferring, directing, and switching. And the guide is very clear. You avoid informal shortcuts like get or give.
Why is that?
It's too intimate. I'll get him for you. Sounds like you're doing a favor. Here, the goal is professional distance. You are an operator managing a complex system with precision.
There's a script here called the concierge entry. It sounds incredibly polished.
It is. Thank you for contacting our global headquarters. How may I direct your call to the appropriate division?
How may I direct your call? It's like walking into a 5-star hotel.
That's the point. It manages expectations. It says, I am efficient, polite, but not your buddy. I'm here to route you correctly. It builds confidence through precision.
Now, what about when the line itself is bad? The static, the echo.
Technical interference. We've all been there.
And we usually just stumble, hello, you're breaking up.
It's so clumsy.
Total friction. The protocol here is called switching lines. The term itself implies proactive quality control. You're not a victim of the technology, you're in control of it.
So how do you say that professionally?
The script is, the current line has significant interference. I will switch this call to a different line now to ensure we can continue clearly.
That is so much better. It takes ownership and it validates the conversation. It says, what you're saying is important, so I'm going to fix this so I don't miss it.
Okay, so we've been very formal, very structured. But what about when I'm talking to my own team, the people I sit next to? If I use that concierge script on you,
I would think you'd been replaced by a very polite robot.
exactly. So the guide has a final section on informal assistance.
Yep, the last gear shift. This is for internal teams, established relationships.
The visual is two gears interlocking, and the protocol is simply get and give.
This is where those words we banned, get, give, are actually perfect, because here the goal is agility and mutual support. We don't need distance, we need speed.
Right, so a script might be, let me get the lead analyst for you so we can verify those numbers right now.
Or could you give me the project director if they've stepped out? It's quick, it's efficient, it builds camaraderie, we're in this together.
Okay, so to pull this all together, the guide has this really useful summary matrix. It helps you choose the right language.
Right, so formal context, high volume technical. Tone is precision and distance. Goal is manage expectations. Keywords, transfer and direct.
Then you have the intermediary, your standard external call. Tone is proactive stewardship. Goal is active assistance. Keyword, put through.
And finally, informal, internal teams. Tone is agility and camaraderie. Goal is speed and efficiency. Keywords, get and give.
It's such a clear framework. Takes the guesswork out of it, which reduces the cognitive load on you, the speaker.
Exactly, but it doesn't stop when the call ends. The guide moves on to beyond the call.
Right, the follow-up. This is where the strategic value really gets locked in.
And it comes down to the difference between reaching and contacting someone. It's about navigating their availability across multiple touch points to reduce future friction.
I see. So it's not just dumping a phone number on someone, it's guiding them on how to use it effectively.
Exactly. The guide breaks it down. First, there's multi-channel reach. The script is, if you need to follow up, you can reach me at extension 8842 or via the direct line provided. You're giving them options.
Then there's coordinating touch points.
How should I contact you to arrange our follow-up briefing? You're politely putting the ball in their court.
And I love this last one, navigating availability.
I would like to contact the supervisor. What is the most efficient way to reach them? Notice that word efficient? You're not asking for their number, you're asking for the path of least resistance. You're hacking the system for a result.
It all comes together in this final visual, the strategic telephony ecosystem. It's a cycle.
It is. Step 1, the verbal handshake reduce that cognitive load.
Step 2, tone matching. Are we the concierge or the ER doctor?
Step 3, resolution path, never hit a dead end.
And step 4, secure follow-up defining how we reach and contact each other next time. And then it starts all over again.
It's a continuous loop of excellence, and that's the big takeaway. Mastering all these different approaches ensures every interaction is a seamless strategic success.
It really does change how you see a simple phone call. It's not just talking, it's brand building.
It's about reliability, authority, and, just respect for the other person's time and mental energy.
So here's the question for you, listening right now. The next time your phone rings or the next time you have to transfer someone, just pause for a second.
And ask yourself, are you just pushing a button and hoping for the best? Or are you offering a verbal handshake that actually builds your brand?
Are you creating friction or are you creating fluidity?
That's the choice every single time you pick up that phone.
I know I'll be thinking about putting you through in a whole new light from now on.
Stick to the bridge.
Stick to the bridge. Thanks for diving deep with us today on professional protocol. Go optimize those handshakes.